Hello, I just wanted to record that I've addressed a little thing that's been niggling at me, the tightness of the nuts here. I've undone the mount that was there, I've undone that brake pipe and undone that nut there, and that allows this to slide forward, exposing these nuts. I've got this big spanner here that I milled it down in the milling machine. I actually ground it the first time because it needs to be thin, you see, because it has to go on there like that. So these nuts weren't very tight, and what I've done, I've just kind of nipped that up. You can't go too mad because you have to maintain a sort of pinion preload. I can't set the preload, so I'm just going to have to use my judgment. And my little problem now is that this tab there obviously doesn't align with, let's have a think about this actually. This nut must have been there. So basically I've given it not even one flat. But what my little quandary now is I've got to get the bend out of that tab there, and then a different tab will align better. So I'm just going to do that. Tiny little King Dick adjustable wrench. Just want to get onto that flange and bend it straight. I've just bent the flange straight and it went as it straightened up, so that one little tab is no good. So I need to now hold that big spanner and turn the other nut. Now I did have another spanner that fitted, but I can't lay my hands on it at the moment. But I've got a big adjustable somewhere. I don't know where this came from. Well, I do know where it came from. It came from my wife's uncle. But it's certainly been useful to me over the years. Now, with these, you're locking them together. You're not tightening them against the pinion. So this needs to be like a high torque, if you like. Okay. I'd say that's pretty good, to be honest. So there we are. I've tightened them up. First of all, I've nipped that one up, and now I've just tightened them together. Now that tab there can be flattened down onto that nut there. Now that tab there, which was on that nut there, is compromised. so I'm going to use this tab here to go against that nut there. Sorry, I'm getting all the... Okay, I'm going to use two hands for that because I'm a bit clumsy. Okay, so there we are, it's all done up. That's knocked over that one, this one's knocked over that one, so they're locked together. Here's my 32 chassis, and I've just put the wheels on. I've taken all of the nuts, and I wasn't very happy about the concentricity of the taper to the thread, so I've took them all, I've put them on the lathe, skimmed all the tapers and shortened them off a little bit at the end so they're not too long, and I've done all that to all the 20 nuts, so they're now bolted on and I'm happy with that. It feels, the taper was going like that as you were tightening it up, so that's no good, is it? So no need to dwell on that, I didn't need to show you that machining. What I've just done, I've just undone that there and slid the torque tube forward, which is easy to do because I've taken that wire brush and cleaned up this area here and cleaned up in there. And what I intend to do, I brought it here because it was easier to get access, and it only takes a minute to undo those 6 bolts, you know, while there's no oil in the axle. So that's all cleaned up, and what I've just done, I just took some of this very ancient valve grinding paste that was my dad's and I've just smeared some on here, and I went around with a file first looking for any high points, and it just didn't feel nice when I put it in there, but I've been around with valve grinding paste and kind of, you know, just sort of lapped it in a little bit, and now it feels okay. You got to bear in mind, all you ever get is like that, or at the very slightest a slight sort of movement like that, but that's feels okay now, so I'm okay with that. That's all right. This I feel is okay. I've cleaned that up. I'm going to run a tap through those and then make sure it's clean inside and bring it back together, and then I'll put the bearing in and the thrust washer and the speedo gear, and the there's a little snap ring, isn't there, that goes in the end. I'll put all those parts in. I'm just trying to sort of what's quick and simple and easy, and you know, something I can cross off the list. So that's what I'm going to do. So I thought I'd just bring you up a little update there. That's it, just a little quickie, not much to show, but one of them jobs that, you know, I'm not very good at thinking ahead. I can only think ahead so far, and then sometimes I have to go backwards a little bit to be able to go forwards, but you know, that's part of building a car. I'm not a professional shop, I don't do this all day every day. You know, I've only built about 4 or 5 cars, so you know, that's over sort of 30 years plus 40 years, so you know, you're sort of learning every day, aren't you? You're learning every day. Okay, I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Right, I'm set up in the lathe, and what I've been doing, I had 4 of these, and these are wheel stud extenders, and what I've just done is I've done 3 of them. This end I've turned the stud off, and that end I've turned it back to where the threads are like that. So I'm just going to do the last one, and I'll show you what these are for in a minute. Hello, welcome to Mart's garage. I've come out to the garage today. It's rather cold today, got 3 hoodies on. I'm just trying to do those little jobs where you just have to keep plugging on and progressing. I built up this forward rear mount into this repro rubber part. Got these 3 bolts holding it together. I've got the little studs in there. And the special bolts, and I've put a die down them. I fitted the bearing, the thrust washer and the speedo gear and the little circlip, which you may or may not be able to see the end of the circlip just down there in the hole. And the fit is really good because there is that much free play there. So what I'm kind of getting at with that is that the length that I set the drive shaft to is pretty good. I'm very pleased with that. Here I have a 2-piece clamshell, and I'm just going to fit that to here. I'm going to grease this up, this surface. Now this has got a rubber seal which unfortunately I broke. It was on the pilot axle, and I believe it goes with these pieces here, so I'm going to try and use that. And I've got 4 nuts and bolts there standing by ready to go in, because it takes 4 nuts and bolts here. So that's what I'm just going to prepare to do. I'm going to try and do that now. And what I'll do, I'll set the camera up and you can see me struggling because I don't actually know the best way of assembling that onto there, but I'm going to just muddle through. The last little thing I just did is I just fitted that 90-degree grease fitting in there, but what I had to do, I had to undo that part to enable me to screw that part in, and then once it was in I squared it up and put that piece back in. So that's a neat little trick, you know, if you got tight clearances, lack of clearance. And I'm going to put this on the bottom because I think it'll be easier for me to get to the grease fitting from the bottom there. This is just normal grease, this is not the fancy stuff. Bear in mind this is just a dummy. This part of the here is just a dummy for the moment. Okay, so I've put some grease on that piece. Put some grease on the other piece as well. I don't know if there's a trick to this. I think what I'll try and do, I'll just put that piece, get that around there like that. Kind of feeding the seal into the groove. Get into the groove. Oh, that's got it. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Just putting grease generally on the lip of the seal. I mean, there's tons of grease, isn't there now? So that's the right way up. If I can start it on the studs. Okay, don't panic. Let's just start some bolts off and then it won't fall apart, will it? I've got these bolts because they've got a nice straight shank on them. You know, there's a plain part of the shank, they're not threaded all the way up. That's why I just took I had the speedo drive on there, but I just took it off to enable me to a little bit more wiggle room to fit this. Okay. Trouble is, I think everything's fighting. Oh, I need to be able to just maybe lever this a little bit. Okay, that appears to be wanting to go on. Don't forget that this needs pulling forward because of that mismatch of the... It needs pulling forward because of the mismatch on the... Okay, let's just start these two nuts now. Where did I put those nuts? I've made these special nuts. They're made from some wheel stud spacers, and I've made them because they're 5/8, and they're long, so I should be able to get a socket on easily. And what I'll do, once they're done up, I'll take them off one by one and put a spring washer on. Let's see if I can get this down to the... No, I can't do it. I need to get the bottom on a bit better. Okay, how am I going to do that? I'll have to pull the axle forward, I think, with a ratchet strap. Okay, where's my other two nuts? Can I see two nuts at the moment? Okay, these are some other nuts that I made, but I decided to use those other ones, but these will have to do just for mock-up. Because you don't have very good access for these, I thought I'd try and use some nuts that I can get onto easily. Snap on. Unfortunately, that's a bigger one there. Okay, so I just need to do these ones up. Do these up. They all seem to be aligned quite well. And that's job done. I can take that strap back off then. Awkward access, isn't it? These are tight as well. I'll just have to use open enders, I suppose. We get spoilt, don't we, you know, with all these different sockets and things, and you forget that, I mean, years ago, possibly people only ever had, like, open enders. Oh, that's squeezed some grease out, so that's coming together now. I don't think I needed to put any sealant on that. What I'll do, I'll just do these two up. Try and share it between the two. Once these are done up, you see, there's no reason to ever undo them again. You know, not in normal service anyway. Okay. Okay, that'll do for now. When I find my nuts that I've made, I'll put those on there at the bottom. So in theory I should be able to undo this strap now, so let's see what happens when I undo that strap. Bloody hell. Who did this up? I only realised relatively recently that you can actually undo a ratchet strap gently. I thought you had to just kind of let it go. There we go. That's it then. That's all done up. Yeah, I like it. You don't have great access, do you, under there? I can get it with my grease nipple alright, so that's good. This just clears that. I don't know how the cable's going to run. When I loosen these off, when I get it off, I'll tighten the others up. I'll probably do it in the meantime, but I won't bother trying to do it now on the video. Just give you an idea. Can't believe how noisy it is here today. It's Thursday. It's supposed to be locked down. This all needs cleaning up, but you know, it just gives an idea of where that's going to go, that cable. So that cable can come down, can't it, and round there, wherever it needs to go. A bit lucky that, you know, because I hadn't considered that. That's a straight shot actually. It would miss that, even without any curve on it. Okay. Another little job off the list. Obviously it's all got to come off, you know, to you know, when I put the gearbox in properly. I imagine it would be easier to take that off and let this come back here to give more kind of wiggle room. Definitely. Just so you can sleep at night. I've done up all of these now and found those other nuts there and put those in. You know, I wouldn't want you worrying that I'd forgotten about them. Another little job, another job off the list. Sorting these bits out, cleaning them up, you know, putting them together, finding all the right hardware, making hardware if need be. It all takes time, doesn't it? Okay, thanks very much for joining me in the garage then. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye. I've fitted the pedal box base. The pedal, this part, the base of the pedal box. This was a shaft that I bought quite a while ago, and I've just made that little pin there, and it's actually a pin from a disc brake, you know, where you put the pads in, and it's got a little hole in it, and I put a P-clip in there, or an R-clip is it called, an R-clip in there, so that goes into the hole up the end of there. So but if you pull that out, that pin will come out. So but I thought that was quite a neat little way of attaching that in. Can you see the R clip up the end there? I've painted the pedals, but I've just had an accident, and when I painted the pedal, I've painted the pedals, but one of them fell off the washing line and went on the wet grass. So that'll probably have to be rubbed down and repainted. I've rebushed the brake pedal, and I've looked and looked, but I can't find the bush for the clutch pedal. So I've temporarily fitted the bush from that I took out from the brake pedal, because it was better than the bush from the clutch pedal. I'm just going to kind of trial fit the pedals. The one that fell on the grass has got some interesting grass type shapes on it, but I'll show you this pin. So I've just got my pliers. There's my pin. There's that pin that goes in there. Thought that was pretty neat, really. you know, if it's good enough to hold brakes on a car, it's good enough to hold that in there. Let's have a think. A, B, C. This one goes here, doesn't it? I'll put a new bush in this one. That is actually a quarter, this pin. So that I might need to get down low to have a look, but that goes like that. Find the right place. There we are. That's in. Ace. I don't know where the up and down positions are on these. About there, I think. And that just rests on the frame there. Not too bad, is it? Looks quite neat. Be alright, you know, a bit of grease on it. I don't know if you're supposed to have like a washer. I could always make a little washer, can't I, if need be. Okay, another little, you know, bit by bit, everything's starting to come together, isn't it? I'll show you some more when there's some more to show. See you later then, bye. Hello, welcome to Mart's garage. This is a master cylinder. It's one that came in a relatively cheap set where you buy all the 4 cylinders, the hoses and the master cylinder in one go. And I bought 2 sets of these quite a few years ago. And the first one, of these went on the 33 coupe. This one I didn't use, and when I built my truck I actually bought another one, because what I wasn't very keen on is that it looked a little bit dirty down inside. So what I just thought I might try and do is kind of flush it out. I don't know if you can see down inside there. Can you see there's like quite a bit of dirt down there by the piston? So what I'm going to do is dismantle it, give everything a good wash and reassemble it. There's 2 ports there, a big port and a little port. And the small port is called the recuperation port. And you have to make sure that that is clear. I'm going to see if I can just maybe go in with a little bit of this glue roll so you can see it. Maybe I can't actually. Let's see. Can you see all those little specks? Okay, let me go and get my circlip pliers. Shit, that went miles over there. God knows where it went. Just shows you, doesn't it, that you have to be careful. Could have gone in my eye, that could have. Okay, this rag's relatively clean. I'll just see if I can blow that with the air. I don't know where the circlip went. I heard it, rather I sensed that it had gone. I shut my eyes tight. I have got my glasses on. And then I heard a noise right over the other side of the garage over there, so I might have lost that. So I can't get the seal out, so I'm going to kind of put my finger over that hole and put it. Okay. There's the residual valve. There's the main seal. You know, all these parts look okay. Bore looks alright. So what I thought I would do is put some brake cleaner in it. That's what I sort of wanted to do, is kind of swill it out. All this dirt on this loo roll is, you know, from there. Really swill it through. Okay. Okay, I don't think I can do much more than that. I think I'm developing a bad connection on my lamp. That's mega cold, that is. It's like a refrigeration effect. Okay, right. So all this dirt came out of that cylinder. Well, okay, a little bit may have come from the outside at the end, but there was a hell of a lot there already. So all that dirt has been flushed out of that cylinder. So, I mean, it's in with a chance of working all right now, isn't it? But that certainly wouldn't have helped things very much, would it? All that in there. Not sure how happy that rubber seal is there with that. Oh, that's better. That used to feel gritty when you used to do it up there. It used to feel gritty. not very warm in here today, so I'm wearing 3 hoodies. Just looking at those little drillings there, there's 3 drillings there that have to be clear. Yeah, I can see. I'm looking through them at the light, I can see through there, they're alright. So that's okay. Hope these seals are, you know, not affected by that cleaner. Now my problem is I've lost the O-ring. I've lost the circlip rather. So I'm going to spend a few minutes looking for that. I just heard it go over in that direction. Rather, I heard something make a noise over in that direction. There it is. Oh, that's good. It was underneath the chassis. Just shows why you have to have eye protection. I mean, that could have gone in my eye. Okay, so I'll just get a bit of that red grease. Okay, you can't see what I'm doing. What I'm doing, I'm shining the light down there, and I'm looking down there at that small hole, and I can see the light. I can see the light through the hole. So that hole's not clogged up. I also can't see any bits and pieces in the bottom now, so that's good. Right, how does this go then? That goes in the bottom, doesn't it? That just goes in like that. Then that goes in. This is the grease that is compatible with brake systems, you know, internal parts of brake systems. Okay, so that goes in that way around like that. Try not to get it caught. There's another seal here. Put a bit of grease on there. Bit of grease on there, and a bit of grease on this seal. So that's pressing against the spring now. Kind of wobbling that a little bit to kind of get it, make sure it's not getting caught. Okay, here's a thick washer here. So that goes on there, and then you've got this piece, which I'm going to put that way around. There we go. Lovely. That's all there is to it, isn't there? There's nothing more to it than that. So what I can do now, I'm going to plug that and wipe it off, and I'm going to paint it just to protect the cast iron. I know the brake fluid would affect it, but you know, you need to kind of be careful a little bit when you're putting your brake fluid in. So I'll do that then. Okay, that'll do. It's a bit cold here today, so I'm going to get a little heater and warm it up, and then I'll paint it. I'll wipe it over with some thinners first. So, okay, I'm going to leave that at that then. That's the master cylinder cleaned. And you can't, there's all that rubbish that came out of it. Look at it, it's disgusting, isn't it? It's bad, isn't it, really? I'm glad I took the time to, you know, wash it out. So that's ready to go on now. What I was going to show you, but I realised I can't really do it, is that little recuperation port there, the small one down there. If you've got a lot of travel on the piston, before the piston travels past that port, you get quite a big squirt of brake fluid up out of that port. Until the piston passes that port, only when it goes beyond it does it then start to build pressure. If the piston is back from that port, any travel that is taken to get it to the port and to the end of the port and then beyond it is wasted. And that is then multiplied out through the pedal ratio, so you get quite a lot of lost movement on the pedal. And what I've done in the past is kind of monitor how big that squirt of oil is as you press the pedal, and I've put washers between this thick washer and the piston. Put another washer in there, and you gauge the thickness so that you just get, as you press the pedal, you just get a tiny little blip of fluid from that port, knowing that it's hardly travelled anything at all before it's closed it off. And that's how you can fine-tune your pedal to get the best pedal that is possible. Conversely, there is another situation where people say, oh, I've driven down the road and my brakes are locking up. When I leave it and it's cold, it's okay. And that is often because the push rod is too long and it's holding the piston down the bore a little bit. And the piston, the rubber seal, is beyond that recuperation port. When you're driving along and you put the brakes on, the fluid near the brakes gets warm and things expand, and it has to push fluid back and up and out of that port into the reservoir. If it can't come out because that piston is too far that way, because your push rod is too long, it starts to put the brakes on, and then it gets hotter, expands more, puts the brakes on even more, and you get this sort of vicious cycle of the brakes getting hotter. If you're out on the road and that's happening and you can't get underneath and adjust this, just back off one of the bleed nipples and let the pressure out, and then, you know, continue with care to a safe place where you can do something about it. But it can also be caused by your brake pedal return spring not bringing the pedal up. So you have to make sure that your pedal comes up nice and cleanly, clunk, and then you've got free play, and this push rod needs to be able to rattle about a little bit. And then, on the other side of the coin, you don't want too much travel there because it's all wasted movement. Okay, oops, that's ready to go on now. Okay, that's all I can tell you about master cylinders, really, other than maybe go and buy a better one. The last one I got was from Rock Auto, and I thought it was okay actually, and that one's on the truck. This one isn't great, but the internals look okay. So that's that. That's all I can tell you. Thanks very much for joining me in the garage then. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye. Hello. Right, I've fitted the brake cylinder. Sorted out 3 suitable bolts and bolted it on. Flange nuts down there. 3 bolts up there. I cleaned up this piece, cleaned up that bolt. I've had to reuse that washer there. I hope it's okay. If not, I can take it off and anneal it. And there's a new washer between the block and the cylinder. I painted the cylinder black. There's a coat of primer on it. It won't last, but it'll help a little bit. The bits that don't get brake fluid on it will be protected. I fitted the push rod and I fitted a rubber boot. I don't have any confidence that that rubber boot's not going to pop off. I might try and see if I can think of something that will help it stay in place. And by turning that hex part there, it alters the length, so I can adjust the length of the push rod. And I need a longer clevis pin in there as well. But there's the pedal, and I can stroke it down, and that reaches the end of the travel there, which is the end of the travel of the cylinder, I believe. Now, by adjusting that rod, I can adjust the pedal up and down, because as it stands, without the firewall in place and the toe board, I don't actually know where the floor is. So you can imagine if the floor is there, you know, the pedal's will come down like that. If the floor's here, you know, I need to adjust the pedal up a bit or down, I don't know. And there's a clutch pedal. I'm waiting for a new bush for that, so I can fit that. But I've put the pads on just to give a bit of an idea there. So there's the pedal box all fitted up. And what I will probably do is I'll probably attach a spring to here and make some way of attaching it down there in that area there, so the brake pedal spring will work like that. Oh, that's right, and I fitted a new brake switch there, a new brake light switch there. So hopefully that will be okay. That's why I wanted to go with the single circuit, because it's so simple compared to the dual. And to be honest, if you had a dual cylinder, I don't think in an emergency the pedal arrangement would allow you to have the extra travel that you need to get the brakes to work on the secondary circuit in the absence of the primary circuit going. If you know what I mean. People that understand it will hopefully understand what I'm trying to say. I've fitted up all the clamshell, all the bolts are tight, and so that can be fitted to the back of the gearbox when the gearbox is ready. Okay, thank you for joining me in the garage then. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.